Well, thank you so much for you all coming out on this rainy, sort of dreary evening. It just started raining on us all of a sudden. We've got a great crowd here. I'm excited to share with you some information about Costa Rica. Costa Rica is a very unique country. We were there in February, and I do believe Colette Tours is the one to use when you go to Costa Rica. They did a fantastic job. Our hotels were beautiful. Did a top-notch job, and I thought, this is so great, I'm going back. So I decided I'm going to go back next February. And Patrick from Colette lives in Nashville, and he came down to be with us tonight. He's going to do a presentation, about 15 or 20 minutes, I think.
Yeah.
And at the end of that, if you all have any questions, hopefully either me or Patrick or Marlena went on that trip too. She can answer questions. She's been over there showing off some of her beautiful photographs. But anyway, without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Patrick.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Yes, thank you all for coming out. Like we said, we went last year, just a couple months ago. We had so much fun. We want to go back. So now we have one traveler go with us. Okay. Has anyone else traveled with Colette before? No. Have you heard of us? Wheel of Fortune. Wheel of Fortune, exactly. So we are the nation's oldest tour operator. We're 105 years old, and we're based out of Rhode Island. So I guess I can turn these lights off real quick. Just don't fall asleep on me, I guess. So just a quick intro. I know it's a little blurry, but my name is Patrick Kinsella, as we mentioned. I am the local rep for Colette. I cover all of Tennessee and Kentucky. Originally, I was the rep in the Chicagoland area. I'm from a couple hours south of Chicago. They hired me right out of school in 2018, and I worked for about a year and a half until COVID hit. I gotta say, I love working with you folks down here in Tennessee. You're a lot nicer than the people up in Chicago. So I'm happy. I'm happy to be here. And I kind of got my start in the travel industry when I was in college at Illinois State. I had the chance to go and live in Florence, Italy for about 6 months, and at an exchange program. So that's kind of where I found my love of travel. So I love coming out and being able to show you folks, some wonderful places around the world. If you haven't traveled with us, if you don't know that much about us, there's all sorts of things that I could talk about that make traveling with us a special experience. But I'll just hit on 3 things briefly, and then we'll get into some of the pretty pictures that we're going to show you here in Costa Rica. Again, I know you probably can't read it. It's a little blurry, but number 1 is how we actually design these tours. As I mentioned, 105 years old. We have a boots on the ground operation. We don't just call hotels and book space and call restaurants and book space or excursions and meals and things of that nature. Each and every year, we have a team of product designers who actually fly out to these locations. They sleep in the hotels, they walk the tours, they do the excursions, they eat the meals, they meet the locals. All of those things that make sure that it's a great pacing tour for you. So you can be rest assured it's always of that 4+ star quality that Colette is known and loved for, and of course 5-star touring experience. Number 2, being your tour managers. So from start to finish, you will be with the Colette tour manager who's there to guide you the entire time. They are your historian, your naturalist, your architect, your hotel concierge, really everything in between. And they want to make a connection with you. They're just as interested about learning about your life here in Tennessee as you are in their life in Costa Rica. So one of the unique things about our tour managers in Costa Rica, they are all certified naturalists. So they'll be able to hear the call of a bird and tell you exactly what it is and point it out. And that's one of the main reasons that we're going down to Costa Rica, is to experience the beautiful flora and fauna of this region. Lastly, it's somewhat of an X factor. You could always go and book a flight and wave at San Jose or whatever the case is, but we want you to come home really feeling like you've experienced Costa Rica. With that, we have some unique inclusions, and I'll touch on them as we go through the slideshows, but they're kind of those X factor things that you're going to come home and remember for a lifetime. You're going to be telling your kids and grandkids about, and we have a lot of those kind of caked into our days here in Costa Rica. So as we mentioned, the tour here is, of course, tropical Costa Rica. We are going in February of next year. Obviously, February here in Tennessee can be a little dreary sometimes, so it's a great opportunity to get down into beautiful sunshine here in Costa Rica. We have a great mix of being in the forests, being at the Arenal volcano, and of course, we'll spend 2 nights at the end of the tour at a beautiful hotel right on the Pacific coast. So, as we can see here, this is the flow of the tour. this is what we call an open jaw itinerary, which is great because we actually just changed this tour around. As I mentioned, each year we go out to make sure that we're tweaking it so it's always of the best guest experience. So we're going to be flying into San Jose, which is the largest and capital city here in Costa Rica. We'll spend one night there before we make our way into the Arenal region. So this is a beautiful resort right at the base of the Arenal volcano. We'll spend 3 nights here. We'll make a trip out to the famous Cano Negro River as well. We'll do a trip on the river before making our way over to Monteverde, and this is where the cloud forest is. So we'll have the chance to experience all that the cloud forest has to offer. 2 nights there. After the cloud forest, we're going to be making our way over to the Pacific coast at the wonderful town of Guanacaste. And here we'll spend 2 nights right on the banks of the beautiful Pacific Ocean. So 2 nights here, some of the best sunsets you'll ever see. And then what we're actually going to be doing is flying out of a town called Liberia back home to Tennessee. So we don't have to do any backtracking, so you really get to maximize each and every day here on this tour. So once we fly you in, we'll get you into Costa Rica. As I mentioned, you'll be met by your tour manager right outside of baggage claim, and they're going to be taking care of you from there. So we're going to have a great welcome meal like we always do with our Colette tours. We have the chance to meet, mix, and mingle with everyone we're going to be spending 9 days here in Costa Rica with. It's always great local food and drinks, and it's a great way to kick off the tour. As I mentioned right off the bat, we want to have one of those kind of X Factor experiences, and that's when we actually go out to a local coffee plantation here outside of San Jose. So coffee, agriculture, it's a big part of the Costa Rican economy, and everyone knows Costa Rican coffee is some really good coffee, right? So we'll have the chance to actually go out, see how they grow the coffee beans, how they harvest them, how they ship them worldwide, what makes it so special, and we get the chance to interact with some of the locals here as well. So great opportunity to taste some of this great coffee. Maybe if you're a little tired from the plane ride or whatever the case is, it's like jet fuel. It'll get you going right away. So we'll have the chance to again, experience some of those unique things that Costa Rica has to offer. As I mentioned, we're spending 3 nights here in Arenal. So this is the famous Arenal volcano. As you can see, we're right at the base of the Arenal volcano. It's a fantastic resort. Of course, a great pool, bar, all that good stuff. But this is where we'll have the chance to actually go out and get really into nature for the first time. We're going to be doing a cruise on the Cano Negro River. Again, you're going to be with your tour manager. They're going to be pointing out all of the great animals and flora and fauna of the region. Of course, the fan favorite is the sloth. They tend to hide a little bit, so you're going to want to keep your eyes peeled. If you are a bird watcher, if you enjoy just beautiful scenery and unique animals, it's a fantastic tour for you as well. We don't want to get too close into the water. There are some caimans in there, so please keep hands inside of the boat at all times. But it's a great opportunity to, again, lay eyes on some things that we just really don't have here in the U.S. So
We saw a whole bunch of monkeys when we did that.
a whole bunch of monkeys right here.
Yeah, and even like they wanted to play with us. Like they came down and jumped on the roof of our boat.
Yeah, it's
They were just so frisky.
they're frisky. It's the Costa Rican experience. The capuchin monkeys are obviously cute little guys, and yeah, they're very playful. So try not to feed them, but yeah, they'll get up close and personal with you. You don't really find that here in Tullahoma, do you? Not many monkeys running around. So as I mentioned, so we'll do a lot of unique touring here on the river, but you have the chance to relax at this beautiful spa. There are a lot of different things that you can do, the spa treatments, things of that nature. Since we are at the base of the volcano here, the soil is very, very rich, and it has kind of a healing effect, they tell me. So you can buy unique products, rub it on your face, pretend you're going to look like you're in high school again, essentially. So we'll have the chance to do that. We're also going to be going out to another local farm here because agriculture is important to the Costa Rican people and economy. We'll meet a local family here, and we're having a farm-to-table organic lunch as well. So we'll have the chance to try some of the massive mangoes and bananas and different fruits that they grow here in Costa Rica. They have their own unique liquor drink, essentially. It's kind of like a cane sugar alcoholic drink. Probably has nothing on Jack Daniels, but we'll see if you enjoy it. But of course, it is a great experience for you to get out there and, again, meet a local family, learn about their lifestyle, and see a true farm-to-table operation here. We're also doing a cruise on the largest lake in Costa Rica here, which is Lake Arenal, again, right at the base of the volcano here. So we're going to be going out, again, great opportunity to take some unique pictures. The volcano just kind of towers over the landscape here. You're going to want to make sure that your cameras are charged on this day because, again, some of the best wildlife here in the region. After a couple nights in Arenal, as I mentioned, we're making our way west into the cloud forest. So we're going to spend 2 nights here in Monteverde. And again, we're going to be walking through this beautiful landscape. Really nowhere else in the world looks like this, between the unique tree formations as well as some of the more endangered species of the area like the quetzal. So bird watchers, it's a fantastic tour because the colorful animals here, as well as just, again, the rawness of the cloud forest. It's kind of like the Misty Mountains a little bit. This is where we're going to have our choice on tour here. So with Colette, we want you to be able to customize your experience a little bit. So you have the opportunity to just pick how you want to spend your afternoon here in the cloud forest. So the first option is going to be the Hanging Bridges tour. We'll have the chance to get up in the canopy and kind of make like one of those monkeys that are chasing us around, see them eye to eye as we walk on these hanging bridges. It's a great view of the top of the cloud forest, and it also has a butterfly excursion as well, because a lot of butterflies make their way all the way from Texas down here to Costa Rica to essentially reproduce. So it's a long flight. If you're interested in that, we have that opportunity for you. Or you can go zip lining through the canopy. I had a group down in Chattanooga that went on this tour in January of this year. A 98-year-old woman strapped in and went on the zip line, and she said it was the most exhilarating thing that she's done. So of course it's perfectly safe. It is one of those things, one of those X factor things that you're really going to remember, and flying through the forest. So after a couple nights in the cloud forest, we're making our way over to the Pacific coast. So after we're doing some unique things, seeing some of the farms, going on a couple cruises, maybe zip lining, you get to really relax on the Pacific coast. So again, it's right on the water. Beautiful hotel here, some of the best sunsets you'll ever see. You'll have the chance, to relax, have a margarita on the beach. But we do have a couple different options that you can take out if you are interested in a little bit more structure to your couple nights here. But as you can see, a beautiful hotel, good chance to again, relax after doing some unique things on the tour as well. But again, if you wanted a little bit more structure, we have the chance to go kayaking through the mangroves. Again, good opportunity to get up close and personal with some of the wildlife here. And one of the fan favorites is, of course, dolphin watching. And we do have the opportunity to snorkel as well. So again, the flora, the fauna of Costa Rica extends out into the marine life as well. So absolutely beautiful here on the Pacific coast. So we will take a small day trip up to the town of Samara as well. But as I mentioned, you get the chance to just relax a little bit on a beautiful beach here at the end of the tour in Costa Rica. So after a couple nights, we actually fly home from Liberia. But we do have the option, if you're interested in seeing the Caribbean side of Costa Rica as well. This would be a pre-tour extension, and this has the chance to go into the Tortuguero National Park. This is a completely protected area of Costa Rica, and this is really kind of off the beaten path, that true jungle experience. So we'd fly you in a couple days early. You'd be, again, still with one of our tour managers here. We actually take a boat to get to the national park because that's the only way to get there. So we fly into San Jose a couple days early. Again, we get you over to Tortuguero National Park. Again, you will be with your tour manager. We're going to do a couple extra sightseeing tours here. As you can see, these are some of essentially the hotels that we're going to be using here. I will note that because of the park's protected status, none of these hotels are going to have air conditioning, but they're all designed in such a way where the breeze gently cools the room. Same group that went out on this tour in January told me that the howler monkeys will wake you up at about 5:45 in the morning. So I will say it's going to be early mornings, but of course that Costa Rican coffee that we all know and love will be ready for you. So again, some of the best tour managers here, but it's one of those unique things that we get to see on the Caribbean side of the tour. So it has the most protected species here in all of Central America, the different amphibians, reptiles, birds, mammals, marine mammals. They're all here and they're all protected. So of course we're going to see some fantastic things in the cloud forest as well as other places. But if you want a little bit more of that jungle experience in a couple extra days, we can set that up for you as well. So if you do choose to take that out, as I mentioned, it'll be a couple days early, and then when the rest of the group comes and we meet in San Jose, you kick off the rest of the tour. So there are a couple other things regarding Colette that we want to do to make your experience more enjoyable. Number one, we're going to pick you up here in Tullahoma. We'll take you to the airport. All right. We don't want you to have to pay for parking, worry about getting the ride up there, whatever the case is. We'll do a group pickup here, and then when you land back in Nashville, we'll have the ride to take you back here as well. So you don't have to worry about getting to and from the airport. Relax on the way in, relax on the way out before we get over to Costa Rica. We do have a couple different ways for you to kind of personalize your experience if you're interested. If you wanted to maybe take out, first class, business class airfare, as I mentioned, some of those tour extensions, if you wanted to stay a couple extra nights in Guanacaste, we can set that up for you as well. But one of the main things I want to touch on is going to be the travel insurance protection that we have. Throughout 2020, 2021, the first half of last year, COVID really threw a wrench into the travel industry. And we actually refunded over $180 million in cash to our travelers. These weren't vouchers for tours in the future. This was cash back. With our insurance policy, you can cancel for any reason, no questions asked, up until the day before departure. And you will get 100% of your money back. Again, it will be in cash too, not a voucher for the future. Called the Bad Hair Day policy here at Colette. We also roll it over and it's going to cover you on tour. So any medical assistance, any baggage loss or baggage delay, tour interruption, we've had evacuations before. That's all going to be covered with this travel protection plan. So, of course, this is a great tropical vacation for you. We want you to have a good time, but these are really an investment for you. This is an investment in your life experience. So we want to do everything we can to protect that investment for you. So I know we have one traveler with us who's traveled on a Colette tour in the past. So we do have a loyalty program here at Colette. So if this is going to be your first tour with us, this would apply to next year. But if you take another trip within a year of a Colette tour, we'll take $150 off that tour. If you take a trip within 2 years, we'd knock $100 off that tour as well. So really just our way of saying thank you for traveling with Evelyn and the agency here, as well as Colette. Some important information: we will need a passport for this tour. We just want to make sure that your passport is going to be valid for a couple months after the tour date. So if your passport is set to expire 2 days after we're set to return, we want to make sure that we get into the post office and get that updated because it kind of got started with COVID when people weren't able to fly home and they got quarantined there and their passport expired, things of that nature. So we just want to make sure that our passports are going to be valid for a couple months after our date. For a couple more information, of course, we have the flyers here. We do have a group web link as well that you can view more information on the tour. But I went ahead and crunched the numbers. There's a couple important things I want to touch on. Number one being August 12th. So it seems like a ways out, but we'll be here before we know it. That is the last date that I can get you on this tour at this price point. Okay? After that date, if I even am able to get you on the tour, it's going to be more expensive. You might be on a different flight schedule than the rest of the group, and you'd be put on a wait list. Every year I have to break someone's heart because they didn't sign up in time and the space is gone, or it's $1,200 more, whatever the case is. So August 12th is a date that you need to remember, circle it, write it on your hand, whatever you need to do. As far as the deposit and to reserve your space, the deposit would be $698. The insurance would be $449. Again, that's that cancel for any reason policy. So your first payment would be $1,147. And that would reserve your spot on this tour. Of course, if anything comes up, we can always get you your money back. It's much, much more difficult for us to get you on the tour after this date than it is for us to give you your money back. One other thing I want to touch on. When you sign up and you put your first deposit down, your first payment, if something comes up from now until August 12th and you need to cancel, we'll even give you the insurance premium back too. All right? So really, up until August 12th, you have zero risk for reserving your spot on this tour. But again, the day before the tour, if you need to cancel, we'll give you your money back. We would retain the insurance policy as well. But I know we had a fantastic time just a couple months ago and liked it so much we want to go back. So I'm happy to answer any questions that you have about the tour, about Colette, but it is a fantastic tour. My boss actually did it for his honeymoon last January, and I'm hoping to get down there pretty soon. But it is one that continuously sells out for us because it's a fantastic time to go here in February. It's the dry season in Costa Rica during our winter. It's a great opportunity to escape winter time here and get in the sun and see some unique things in Costa Rica. So I'm happy to answer any questions that you do have. You flip the lights. Everyone fall asleep on me?
Do you have any paperwork at all on the insurance, what all it covers and everything? You have like a sheet to show?
Yeah, I mean, within our flyers here, it will touch on it a little bit, but within our group web link, so on the flyer at the bottom here, go ahead and show everyone here. On this, within our flyer, on the bottom of the second page, within a big blue bar, there's going to be the web link. And I'm sure we could email it out to everyone as well. If you click on this, it's going to pull up all the information on the tour, everything that's within this flyer, everything I spoke about, but even more so because you can just fit more onto a website. Within there, it has all of the specifics regarding the insurance policy. But yeah, again, it's all encompassing. Yes, ma'am?
How many people can you accommodate on the tour?
The absolute maximum that we would have on the tour is going to be 44. Generally, we run an average tour is somewhere around 35 to 40 is what we generally see.
What about the currency?
Yeah, so I mean, as far as currency goes, your credit card is going to work perfectly fine over there. If you want to get some local currency out, you're more than welcome to. My suggestion is always, some banks will be able to order you currency ahead of time. With Costa Rica, less so than maybe just getting euros per se, but you can always use your debit card and take out cash just as normal.
And what about electricity?
It's the same. You
Oh,
don't need an
okay.
adapter.
No adapters for this tour. It's a great, it's a shorter flight as well. No transatlantic.
It's also in central time zone too. It's
Yeah.
the same time.
Yeah, yes.
Wow. What is the extra if you decide to do that jungle?
I know. That's
Is it in here?
Yeah, it's going to be at the bottom of the flyer here. It looks like 849.
And I think it's in this.
Is that the
too.
same time frame, August 12th, if we decide?
Yeah.
Include that time.
Yep. hmm
So they don't take the US dollar?
They do.
Yeah, I mean, some places might, they don't have to, but did you run into any trouble with that? No?
We just used U.S. money, and everywhere we went, they took our money.
Great.
We never got any Costa Rican money. But sometimes though, if you pay for something, you get it back, maybe your change in Costa Rican money. And I wish I had brought some of it to show you. It is so beautiful.
Yeah.
It's very colorful. Isn't it?
Got it in my with you.
It is so
Almost
colorful, and
make-believe
it's got
looking.
like the birds and flowers
Very
and
cool.
things on it. It's really pretty money. But
It's
yeah,
probably
you might
the
get
prettiest
some
money I've
back
ever
in
seen.
change, but we never had any trouble using U.S. money. And Costa Rica is it seems like a safe place. And the people there really value education. They don't have an army there. In fact, I think it was in 1949, their president or somebody in charge, they did away with their army. And they said, we're gonna replace our guns and bullets with pencils and paper and books. And so they really value education. They have energy. They're very advanced in their energy sources.
hmm
They have almost like 98% of their energy is green.
What is the temperature in February?
So it can vary. What did y'all experience?
Well, we wore
T-shirts,
shorts
shorts.
and just sort of things like this.
So it's good sleeping.
Yeah,
It's cool.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
The rest of our hotels will have air conditioning.
Just in that one
Just
place.
that one, yeah. The rest of the hotels.
Yeah, we had air conditioning.
Yeah.
In San Jose, we stayed in a very modern, a beautiful hotel,
Mhm.
and it had air conditioning.
Yeah, the rest of them will. It's just
Okay.
that Tortuguero extension. Mhm.
Is that optional 4 days, is that before the 12th? You
Correct.
go 4 days before the 12th?
Yes.
Okay, and would you pick up people if there's only 2 or 3 going?
Correct. Yeah, we
Okay,
would.
So you pick up regardless of the number?
Exactly. Yeah, we would rearrange transfers and make sure that we have a ride there for you.
Like you're talking about from Tullahoma to the airport.
Yep. Mhm.
Do you travel on different airlines or is there a specific one that you use?
Great question. So our airlines that we use United, Delta, American, and their alliances. So we're not going to fly down there on Frontier or Spirit or something like that. So if you do have, like I have a Delta credit card, I have the Sky Miles thing, we can add that so you earn points on these flights too. Of course, if you have TSA pre-check or global entry, we can always add that to make it, easy breezy for you getting through the airport. What we would generally have is a flight schedule out probably about a couple months before the trip. I will say, well, it's a shorter flight, which is always good. But the sooner that we have kind of an idea of how many people are going to be going by the amount of deposits that we receive, the sooner we can go out and actually get the flights. And the sooner that we have the chance to go out and get the flights, generally it's a better schedule as well. Okay?
What about internet service? Will it be good out there? Spot.
Well, so we do travel via luxury motor coach, all right? It does have Wi-Fi. Maybe as we're going through kind of the back roads, it's not going to be the best connection.
Oh, yeah.
But of course, all of our hotels will have, Wi-Fi, and you'll be set.
Now, the zip line or the bridge thing, is that extra?
Nope. So
That's included, you just, if
You-
you
One or the other.
do one or the other, okay.
But
that's
you can
included.
do both, I think, if you want to. I mean, some people did both.
yeah, it
But
just
you pay $75 if you want to do the
Both.
second.
Okay,
Mhm.
okay.
Or that's how it was when we did it.
yeah. Did you zip line?
No,
No. Maybe this time you all got to make her do it.
no.
Anything else for me, folks?
I've been to Mexico. The water made me sick. Is Costa Rica the same? Is the water? Will it? You know,
We
because
really-
I even got sick on Lotus.
We really haven't had any problems with that. Did your tour manager mention anything along those
I
lines?
don't think so.
Yeah, it's a very, very clean. I mean, as we were mentioning, they invest a lot of money into their environment. It's actually one of the few countries that absorbs more carbon than it emits as well. So it's very clean, and the people are fantastic as well. So you'll have a great time. But yeah, nothing to worry about.
Yeah, okay.
And the coffee is the best.
Exactly.
It really is.
These people brought home
Yeah,
suitcases.
everybody brought home tons of coffee.
Here we go.
Yeah. How many meals were fine?
So you can see the amount of meals within the flyer here, and you can see which days what meals are included. So it's a total of 14 meals, and then under each day on the itinerary, it will say B, L, or D, and that will be the meals included. For the meals that aren't included, of course, your tour manager knows every nook and cranny of these places that we're visiting. So they're more than happy to provide suggestions. Of course, some of the best food in kind of all of North America, South, Central
It looks
America.
like 5 dinners and 1 lunch and then breakfast every morning.
Mhm.
at the
But I'm
hotel.
sure they're reasonable over there on their prices, aren't they?
Oh, yeah.
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 Yeah, a lot more so than, maybe some countries in Northern Europe where it's $30 for a bowl of soup or something like that. Yeah, that's not going to be much of an expense for you. But some great, local, the fruit's obviously fantastic, but the seafood's good. They got a lot of good stuff in Costa Rica.
The fruit was amazing. They grow all their own fruit.
Yeah.
They were proud of it. too.
Yes, yeah.
On the day that you snorkel, I don't, but I know someone who does.
Mhm.
I've heard that you have to wait 24 hours or 48 hours to fly back.
So that would be scuba diving. We're not going to be scuba diving.
No.
It's just snorkeling. So, and if you don't want to get in the water, you don't have to. If you want to just go on the boat and look at the marine life and the dolphins and kind of get out in the sun, you can do that as well.
If you sign up as a solo traveler and then get a partner to go, can you switch from solo to?
We can, as long as there's the space available. And I will say, if you do plan on traveling as a solo, or if you know you want to maybe upgrade to Economy Plus or whatever the case is, the sooner the better to get your deposit in so we can work on some of those things. The airlines, it's kind of the most difficult thing we do in the travel industry. So the more time that we have, the better. But yes, as long as there's still space available, we can make that happen.
What is the flying time from Nashville to San Jose?
So generally we'd have a connection. Did
We
you
picked it in Miami.
in Miami, and then that 3.5 hours?
Yeah, I think it's about 3 or 4 hours from Miami.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's just a carpet's
And that's the great thing about this tour. It's not that far. It is in the same time zone, but it's really like a world of its own. You'd think you have to fly all the way across the world to see a place like this. So, anything else for me? All right. Well, one of our travelers can show us some pictures and tell you all about it. She's here, so
It's a wonderful experience. I would highly recommend it.
yeah, good. So We're excited to show you Costa Rica. I appreciate y'all coming out and listening to me. Obviously, Evelyn can take care of you if you have any other questions. The important thing, again, is going to be that August date. I promise you, every year I have to break someone's heart because they don't get their deposit in on time, and the space is gone, and when it's gone, it's gone.
And that happened this year. I had a few people that got on the wait list.
Yeah, and some,
just waited too
and it
long.
just doesn't clear. So, again, up until August, you have absolutely no risk because we'll give you that insurance premium back too. So I highly recommend, if you have any inclination of wanting to go, reserve your spot, sleep on it for a couple months, you know. But thank you all. I'm going to be sticking around, packing up and whatnot. If you do have any other questions, we'll go from there. But thank you.